So picture this, you're like 6 years old, if you only had a couple years of sentient thought under your belt, and one of the first encounters with an authority figure that you're old enough to question is one of the most terrible people you'll ever meet. That person would be my first grade teacher. In my 13 years of school with over 30 teachers, she was by far the worst, and she's probably also the reason I have a subconscious disliking of authority figures. Now before we start with the stories, I just want to say that there is a chance that my disliking of this teacher could be exaggerated due to the fact that I was like 6 and I've just gone bitter with time, but I doubt it. Now let's call this teacher Miss D. I think the best way to describe Miss D is as a good old-fashioned Karen mixed with an authoritative dictator. She's the kind of person who became a teacher not because they like teaching or molding young minds, but because it's the only thing they can find that makes them feel powerful over someone else. I'm sure you've all had at least one teacher like that who's basically just a bully who never left school. And the cherry on top of this bad person cake, with this school being a private Christian one, she was the kind of person who used religion to manipulate people. Do you know what happens when you tell a bunch of kids who believe in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy that the all-powerful and all-knowing creator of the universe will smite you down if you talk back to your teacher? You give them anxiety for years, that's what happens. Now that I've painted a clear picture for the kind of person Miss D is, I'm going to share some of the moments that I can vividly remember. May I remind you that I was 6, so it's been a while. But my first experience with Miss D as my teacher was having to deal with her own personal dress code. For those of you who haven't seen my private school experience video, this isn't a private school by the way, my school didn't have uniforms, just a very strict dress code. To sum it up quickly, polo shirts only, and pants could only be dress pants, cargo pants, or khakis. Now Miss D, who for some reason was allowed to do this, made it so that in her class specifically, you also had to tuck in your shirt and wear a belt, and if you didn't, you're in trouble. Saying it now, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but from a 6-year-old's perspective, no one else in the entire school has to do that, just the first graders. It felt like having your freedom stripped away from you. Plus, belts are just completely unnecessary on pants that small. All of them still have elastic waistband because nobody's expecting a 6-year-old to wear a belt in the first place. Another thing Miss D did was have her own personal bad kids chart. That's not what it's really called, I don't remember its actual name, but it's basically a chart with every student's name with a colored card next to each name. And when a kid did something quote-unquote bad, Miss D would change the color of the card. It'd go from green to yellow, red, cyan, and then purple. Green and yellow didn't have a punishment, but the other colors did, and they'd get more severe as you progressed. Now this chart itself, I don't really have a problem with. I'm sure plenty of other teachers probably have something similar. My problem is the fact that Miss D was incredibly eager to flip anyone's card for the littlest reason that they might not have even done. Pretty sure she got a hit of dopamine every time she did, and all these card flips for small discrepancies would add up to a punishment that doesn't even fit whatever you may or may not have even done. One time I almost got detention because there were 2 classmates having a whisper conversation behind me, and Miss D kept flipping my card thinking it was me. But nope, can't talk back to her and tell her it wasn't me, or else God might take it personally and send me to the fiery abyss. The whole situation really does a number on a first grader's psyche, let me tell you. So you know how in school they say that if any bullying is going on, the first thing you should do is tell an adult? Well, one day at recess, I happened to witness some bullying going on, and want to know the only teacher supervising recess at that time? Miss D. So anyways, I go up to Miss D, the naive child that I was, and I tell her about the bullying that is currently going on as we speak. And what she's told me still bothers me to this day. She said to me, "Don't be a tattletale or I'll put you in timeout." Yep. Like, did she forget she's a teacher? Did her old school bully brain activate or something? I said earlier in the video that she's like a bully who never left school, and you know how some young students think that teachers like live at the school and never leave, and then if they see them at like the grocery store, their minds are blown? Well, guess what? Miss D lived right on the other side of the school parking lot. Pretty sure it was still school property too. And the way the school is shaped, the playground shares the same patch of grass as her front yard. Anyways, those are all the stories that I can remember off the top of my head. I'm sure there's plenty more that I only remember like in the middle of the night when I'm trying to sleep. But yeah, might be a bit traumatized. Anyways, if you're still here and you enjoyed my rant, I guess, then if you could hit the like button, that'd be very cool because it tells the algorithm to send my video out to more people. And if you're new and you enjoy my content, consider subscribing. And if you turn on the notification bell, you'll get notified every time I upload or go live because sometimes I live stream. Anyways, thank you for watching and I'll see you whenever. Bye.